I'm pleased to welcome Sheila Vaughn, who is one of 3 candidates vying for 2 spots on the Kingston Select Board. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. We're going to dive right into our questions.
Wonderful.
Okay, question number 1. The 34-article annual warrant to be voted on at town meeting was recently reviewed and voted on at the Select Board. The operating budget was not included in that discussion, yet many capital expenditures were. What is your overall view on the budget being considered, and where do you put your priorities?
Absolutely. So, great question, honestly, because we usually wait for the operating budget for the absolute last thing, because we wait for FinCom to kind of get theirs. And I listened to FinCom this week, and so they still have some questions. So they are going to come to our Tuesday meeting to discuss the schools, which is our big one this year, and some of the capital projects. But also, we have a new captain. A new chief in Kingston.
In the police department.
In the police department.
Yep.
And he has asked for about $500,000. He came in and kind of did an assessment and believes that he needs some help, so to kind of get the department going. And so he's going to come on Tuesday as well to ask for some resources, which I kind of knew going in as a new chief. You know, you're kind of going to do some work and see what you need, and happy to listen to what he needs and see what we can do. Honestly, I do believe that everything we need, you know, it's really hard every year to figure out where do you go. This year with the schools, it was very difficult. That's probably the toughest one this year, is that, you know, I'm all about the schools. I've been on school committee before. It's tough to see those budgets go up, you know, 10, 11%. In other budgets are staying at those 3-4%.
Right.
Unfortunately, Silver Lake, we had to make some moves because of DESE, and so
explain what DESE is.
So DESE is the Department of Education and Secondary Education. So they are our mandates. So
they tell you what you have to do.
They tell us what I have to do.
Okay.
And special education as well. So our special education needs went up. So we have an integrated preschool in Kingston.
Which is new this year, correct?
It's not new, but it's been here for a while. But unfortunately, it needed to move.
It's new to your budget.
New to the budget,
Yeah.
because it traditionally had been in the Kingston teachers had been there, but now it's really Silver Lake. And so we had to make some moves. After 20 years, they decided to look at it and say, hey, we've known about 2 years now coming down the pike. It was going to be coming, but it's a big hit because you're moving pretty much from Kingston to Silver Lake, and then a lot of special education issues have come with it because it needs its own principal.
Yeah.
It also, it's integrated, which means IEPs and 504s, so it's a lot to think of. And then capital budgets, you know, you need doors, you need windows, you need roofs, you need teachers. You know,
Right.
I don't ever want to lose a teacher.
Right. So the town of Kingston's budget is complex because you not only have the town of Kingston and all the infrastructure for that, you have your portion of the Silver Lake budget, which I believe you're 55%.
Yes, so
and then you have your own Kingston elementary school budget.
Our assessments are changing, it feels like daily, because of the way that the situation is going with DESE. But yes, so our assessment has been changing. But yes, Silver Lake, our assessment with them is based on Halifax and Plimpton too.
Right.
So if we say no and Halifax and Plimpton say yes, we have to say yes as well. So, and then Kingston has its own budget. So Kingston actually went down a little bit this year, but yeah, so it's a lot of work to go into that. I love budgets. I love spreadsheets. I was on the school committee for 10 years, so I do understand it.
So you understand it, yeah.
It's very frustrating for people because it is hard to explain sometimes.
Yeah. I think a lot of people don't. All the mandates and the things that you have to do with ed are confusing to people, and the fact that you don't have a per pupil amount yet that the state is going to give you is huge, correct?
It's so huge.
So how can you vote on a budget with incomplete information?
It is very difficult, especially the schools. It is probably the toughest thing because they wait until the last moment. And a lot of times we're voting on a hope and prayer that it goes to the legislature. Last year, our budgets were going, further and further out. The legislature I know I work at a college, and we got some legislation in August.
Right.
And so how do you do that? You make estimates. We have an amazing superintendent and amazing admins that kind of look at it and say, year to year, this is what we're looking at.
Right.
You hope and pray that it works, but it's also very difficult with those types of budgets, and you don't want to lose teachers. You don't want to lose those types of things, but also we need fire trucks, and we need police vehicles, and
DPW trucks.
DPW trucks, 4 of them coming up on. And when I did agree to that. I said 4 DPW trucks. I get it. Paul Basil does not ask for a lot from us, so I say, it may not be snowing right now, but it will be, and those are 25-year-old trucks. And but capital planning does a great job of explaining it too. I think these different committees, I really trust them to make those decisions, and then they come to me, and I really look at it through their lens too.
Sure.
I'm a parent, but I'm also, they do their due diligence, which is so important, which I thank God every day for the capital planning committee and those school committees and CPC, because
so without all those subcommittees and all those other committees that work diligently, you couldn't even vote on a budget because you wouldn't know what you were voting on.
Absolutely not. And they're doing all that due diligence. They're going and looking at those trucks, and they, I know that Heath Enberg, he went and looked at those trucks. He went underneath them. He saw them. We bring pictures, and I'm a big proponent of transparency. So I think I love pictures at our town meeting. I think it's important to show what it looks like. This is what these doors look like. This is what this truck looks like.
And people understand it if you explain it. If it makes sense and they can translate it to their own homes or their own situations, it makes it much easier to...
You have to put it in layman's terms. We were doing the leaching fields last year. I'm like, let's put it in layman's terms.
Exactly.
That's wonderful that you're a botanist, but I'm not a botanist. So let's put it in my words so I can understand what that means, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so is there a possibility that you might have to come back for a fall town meeting?
It looks like we will have a fall town meeting, yes. It's looking like that, just certain things that might be pushed off from this one to the next one. But yes, it looks like we probably will have a fall town
Especially
meeting.
if you don't know how much you're going to be getting from the state.
It's so difficult. It's so difficult. And especially with the schools the way they are right now. And so we're looking at a fall town meeting.
Okay. All right, question number 2. Let's talk about the senior population. Every town has experienced a growth in the senior population, and Kingston's no different. Looking back and looking ahead, how effective are the services that are offered to the seniors, and do you have any thoughts on how services could be expanded or improved?
Thank you for talking about that. The seniors are so important, and we have a large senior population in our town. We have a council on aging, which is amazing. We have our friends of the council on aging, and we work so hard to see what they need. They had just asked for a dementor, I think it was a $35,000 grant to be able to be a dementia-friendly town
community.
But then it's like, what do you do, right? Do you say that, or do you have trucks, or so? It's a tough decision to make. I'm very proponent of the. I myself have some elderly parents, and we need more housing for them. I am a proponent. We don't have enough housing, but also being a voice for them. I have to say, I said the other day, the local scene's huge for me. They listen to you. They honestly have you on their cable, and that's important. They need to have these resources to be able to get that. And our COA does a great job, but we can do a much better job with our seniors. And we do a lot of work with the taxes and with our COA, but we need help with our seniors, and they need more.
Give me some examples. What do you mean? The things you do for the seniors, like for taxes. What do you mean? We do things.
So we have somebody come in and help them with their taxes.
Okay, help them actually prepare their taxes.
Help them prepare their taxes. If they're having some financial issues, we do help them with that as well. So maybe they need some assistance. We have food every day. So if they, we do the Wheels on Wheels, but also the COA does, a breakfast and lunch every day if they want to take it to grab and go. We have games, we have bingo, we have anything that they need. We really try to listen to them. We have a COA director and an assistant COA director too. But we really want to help in any way we can. We also are voting for more money for the tax work-off for the seniors as well.
Can you explain what that program is?
Sure. So a tax work-off means that you can work with our town to get a little bit of relief, and so we're upping that about another $500.
You mean from your property taxes?
From our property taxes.
By volunteering?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So it used to be $1,000, and now we're trying to go to $1,500. And it's a great opportunity because you're on a fixed income.
Exactly.
Social Security doesn't go a long way anymore.
Right. Now, the town of Plymouth just passed a accessory dwelling units bylaw, which allows a number of things, but one of the basics was allow seniors to stay in their houses by being able to either rent out a part of their house for income or move themselves into the smaller part because they don't need the bigger part and rent the bigger part out. Has Kingston looked at anything like that specifically to help seniors stay in their town?
We actually had that on our actual on the actual warrant this year for the accessory dwelling. I can tell you, I have an accessory dwelling, and I have my parents there. So
oh, great!
I believe in it immensely. I think it's going to help with some affordable housing. I'm on the Affordable Housing Trust in my town as well. We've been discussing this. This is a huge dynamic. We are a proponent of, for me, in the Affordable Housing Trust, we're really saying this is great. Keep them in their homes, and you know. It's $3,000 for an apartment now. I mean,
oh yeah, what is affordable? It's crazy.
I completely agree. I think this is for our seniors, but even for the startup, for those couples trying to get somewhere to live. You know? And I want my parents to stay with me. I don't want them being, you know, in an apartment that they can't afford, or these young people that can't get a house because they can't afford it.
And they can't even afford apartments in some cases.
They can't.
Yeah.
Our town is really, it's $600,000 for a house. And even the apartments at the mall, they're $3,000, $4,000. How are you ever going to save money?
Right. So well, you're not.
And so I'm a big proponent of the accessory housing. I also have one, so I'm a big proponent of it.
So for the seniors, that would be a great thing.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you're looking at to offer the seniors?
You know, I've been talking to Kathy Onato a little bit more and saying, like, what else can we do to help them? What else can we do in our town? You know, we have the tax work off, but, you know, I really want to help with the veterans as well. You know, our senior veterans, we're trying to help a lot more with that. There's always donations, but it's just, I think, we need to get in and talk to them more. What do you need?
What do they need?
What do you need? Like, and talk to us. I think, I love when they come to our meetings, you know, and say, what do you need? What is important to you? And I want to bring that to them. And I think, I got to go to them a lot of times. I keep saying I got to go to them and I got to speak to them. And I was just saying I need to go to the COA and just have a discussion. What do you need? I can hear it from our director, but I want to hear it from them.
Sure, absolutely. Okay, question number 3. What do you consider the biggest challenge to the town of Kingston, and what aspect of the municipality do you think is done really well?
You know, as we've gone forward, and I've been a selectman now for 4 years, we always seem to find the money somewhere, somehow, some way. You know, we've reassessed how we actually do our wage and personnel. We work with our unions. We try to be really cohesive in the way we do it. But the budget goes up every year, right? And so we do a good job. And I think our committees, especially, you know, capital planning and the way they do it, we look at a 5-year plan. Like, let's look at these things way ahead of time. What is coming down the pike? What are we kicking down the can too many times, or how many times are we going to do this? And I think we're doing a better job of really seeing the future and being transparent. I believe that we are the most transparent we've been in a long time. Hence to you, thank you for coming to all of our meetings and keeping us transparent. I think it's important to have that, but to have that piece of people can see it and they understand it and they're looking at it. And but I really think it's important to know what we're doing with our money and we're explaining it to people. I love that Keith will go online and talk about our articles. What is this? What does this mean?
Yeah, we're going to talk about communication in a second.
Yes.
So what is the biggest? So you think pretty much financially the town manages pretty well considering?
Pretty well considering. Yes.
I mean, because every town has such increases every year, and there's a lot of things. There are no control issues. You just have to do it.
Right.
So that's your plus.
It's very difficult.
What do you think the town really needs to work on?
I think, you know, commercial base. I think we need a more commercial base. You know, residential, I get it. We don't have really water anymore. We have a water moratorium right now. We're trying to look at, you know, other options for the well. We actually have that also on our warrant for, you know, I don't really love eminent domain, but I think this well is very important to our town.
You need a new well. You need to dig a new well.
We need to. Somebody had offered us, a well a few years ago. We're trying to work with the family, and but. We were told we could have it, and so...
You mean the land?
The land.
You have the land to dig the well on.
With the well, yeah, so it's great. So because we can get that water. Right now we have a moratorium. There's no water. So how are you supposed to do anything without water?
Right.
And, you know, and we have the sewer, but those people that have the sewer, they're paying a ton of money too. So, yeah, do I not love huge complexes of apartments and things like that? But I also believe in affordable housing. So I do believe that people need to have apartments that they can afford.
Sure.
But I also think that in our town, you need to have commercial base. We need commercial base in our town. We don't have enough of it at all. We have no, like, I'm happy to see that the mall has been, we have some new owners. I think they're going to be revamping things.
Yeah.
I love to see that. New businesses coming in. We have some new, like new breweries, and I think it's great, but we have to have that commercial base in our town.
Yeah. Now, do you mentioned about looking ahead 5 years. Do you have a master plan that's currently being worked on?
I wish. Our master plan is seriously old. I mean, it's still there.
How old is it?
Oh gosh, probably 10 years or so. I mean,
Okay.
it's been a while, and I think it could be looked at. And I talked to Jean Lennis-Numan, she's amazing. We talk about it a lot, but I think it would really look good to kind of look back at it and say we need to start thinking about that again, right?
Sure.
But these grants and those types of things, you have to keep all these things going. It's like, where's the money to even do that again? And, our streets, and we're trying to get grants for everything now, streets, and parks, and it's just trying to fix roads, and the money's not always there.
Yeah. Do you have a grant writer?
We don't have a grant writer, but I have to say we have some amazing people who do write grants. I say kudos to them that they have it. I know that Mark, our fire chief, he's great at writing them. But I'm like, I would love to have them be able to get a class for that.
Yeah.
Get a class for it. Why don't we pay for some professional development to learn how to write grants so we can do that? Sometimes people don't come in with that. But hey, it's great if we could teach them how to do those grants, and those are things I think professional development are really important when you're coming into those things, and any way that we can help with that. But those grant writing, it's hard. It's not easy.
It's not an easy one. Okay, let's talk about communication. Okay, communication to and from the residents is paramount in any municipality. With the lack of local papers, the time constraints of keeping a website updated properly, and often the opinion versus facts messaging in social media. How would you improve the overall way that the town communicates with its residents?
I am not a proponent of the social media aspect of. I love my town locals. I think it's great. I will put on my Sunshine Sundays all the time and say how wonderful they are. And but it's not a real place that I like to give my political views and talk about those types of things. We try not to use. We do have a selectman page, but it's for basic information. We have our website. We have our emails. We have our phone numbers on our cards. Talk to me. Call me. Email me. But I have to say again, having the transparency of having every meeting having to be actually taped, and you're there. We're hearing you. What you say and what you don't say, and you can see it anytime on demand. Keeps us honest. And I think it's important. Can we do better? Obviously, I think it is, especially depending on what your communication is. With the elderly population, it's not that easy. They don't have as much social media as maybe other people do. So we have worked on our emergency preparedness and using that a little bit more with the reverse 911 calls and when things are happening, making sure that we're using that more than we ever have before, because people do have landlines still, and so it's important to get that information out. When we have water main breaks, not everybody's going to see on social media. How do we get that out?
Right.
So
and
that's
Keith
good.
does his is this week in Kingston.
He does.
On a weekly basis.
He does do this week in Kingston, and he does definitely use what we have, and especially you and we WATD. We try to go on there and talk about things too. But the most transparency we can be in any type of medium. I'm not a big proponent of my social media.
Right.
I like, and I know that it sounds like a commercial, but I love that the local scene, because it is impartial. You are doing things to just, you're taping it and you're seeing what's there, and there's no view. Your view is not there. Your view is, this is what it is.
Right.
And I think it's wonderful because it's impartial.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it's something we obviously love to do. We are Switzerland, as we like to say, and you need to be. You need to have a component to your communications that has no opinion. It's just, these are the facts. This is. You make your decision. But the town, does the town have its own social media page?
So we have a page, but we don't use it very often. We give basic information. So again, if there's a water main break or something's happening, we'll put that out there.
Yeah.
Our front page of our website is updated all the time. We did get some revamping of our website to make sure that we could get that up and running quickly. Yeah, but it has to kind of be everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So we have to kind of be everywhere.
At all times.
At all times.
And meeting people where they are.
Right.
Yeah, which is difficult.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
The younger population, obviously, they got their phones on them all the time. the older population, it's a phone call, or
Yeah.
I think we still use the library board to
Yeah.
say what things are going on. We still use the old school A-frames to say the town meeting's going to be this day. Whatever we can do to get that out.
To get it out, yeah, because it's important.
It's communication is key, and to me, my integrity is the only thing I got, really.
Yeah.
I think it's so important. So transparency and being able to have people understand. Town municipalities are very difficult. Finance, the budgets, what people do in the towns. Why are we spending your money? Because it's the taxpayers' money, and they need to know why in layman's terms.
Right.
And that's what I really think is important.
Right. Now you'll be one of 5 select people if you're put on the board again, if you're voted on the board again. How do you feel communication between board members is handled when you don't agree with, maybe you have a perspective that somebody else doesn't agree with? How do you handle that?
It's I have to say the 5 of us have very different personalities. I'm probably the most over here, a little bit more right than more left than right. But I think that everybody listens to each other. We have had a board that we do listen, and we'll let everybody have their voice.
Yep.
And, I'm a proponent of I don't talk to anybody. I read what I need to read.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to anybody. There's not going to be this behind the scenes, what's your vote, that vote.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. It's disgusting. But I do think that we all have very different votes, and you can see it sometimes. We all have very different personalities, but we do listen to each other, which is really good. I think we give each other our stance to say, this is what I believe in.
Yeah.
And not every time does everybody agree.
And you're not always going to.
But
yeah.
but we do allow to say, hey, this is how we are, and it's not. You're not being cut off. You're not being told.
Respectful conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You need to have that.
Yeah.
I'm fiscally conservative when it comes to the town, but I think it's important to also look at all aspects.
That's right. That's right. Okay, great. We're going to allow you to take 2 minutes to speak directly to the public and convince them to vote for you for one of the 2 seats for Select Board.
So hi, I'm Sheila Vaughn. I am running for the 3-year seat for Selectman. I have been a Selectman now for 4 years, and I really have enjoyed my time as a Selectman. I spent about 10 years on the school committee, elementary committee, and I have 3 kids in the system. So I have a 6-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 16-year-old. Yes, I did say that, yes. It's a lot. But I enjoy it so much, and I love my town. I love Kingston. I'm not a townie. I wasn't born here, but I've been here about 20 years now with my husband, who I've been married to for 20 years, who is a townie. And I really enjoy being here. I love my town, and I love the fact that it's small. We call it the Beaver Cleaver town a little bit, but it really is an amazing space. Being next to the water and having our town here, very, very important for me is that we stay fiscally, viable for what we're doing and making sure that we are making the right decisions. Our schools are bar none. We have great parks and rec, and I think our kids are very lucky to be living here, but also our seniors who have been here for years and years. I was talking to somebody the other day saying, lived here forever, and I love that. And I think it's just really important that you are transparent in who you are. And as a selectman, I think it's just the most important thing that my integrity is who I am. And anytime that somebody wants to talk to me, hey, call me, email me, I'm here. Like I said, I have 3 kids. I'm a director of admissions at Cape Cod Community College, so I'm a busy mom, but the busy stay busy. So I love it, and I hope that you would vote for me for another 3 years. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sheila. We wish you the best of luck during your campaign and during this election season. And please do make your vote heard. Make your voice heard by voting on or before May 18th in the Kingston town election. Thank you and good day.